Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about the holiday season, not just one holiday, as I know we're headed into Thanksgiving, but the whole stretch from late November through early January. For a lot of people, this time of year when routines get loose, work gets busy, family events pile up, and suddenly the fear kicks in that everything they've built in the last few months is about to fall apart. Or maybe they feel like they need to wait until January and just kind of like say November and December are just a wash, and they don't have to be that way. And that fear alone creates really more problems than the actual holidays ever will. So this episode is really about shifting how you think about this season. It's about approaching the holidays in a sustainable way where you are still living your life, still experiencing the things that matter and are important to you, still enjoying food, traditions, and connection without feeling like you are jeopardizing your health. My goal today is simple. Let the holidays be holidays without losing the rhythm that you've worked so hard to build throughout the year or the rhythm and consistency that you're trying to establish now. So, first, let's zoom out. When we zoom out and look at the entire year, the holiday season, even if we count from Thanksgiving through New Year's, is roughly 5 to 6 weeks. But even with those weeks, the actual meals or events that feel big are extremely limited. Most people have a Thanksgiving meal, maybe a weekend of leftovers, one or two work parties, a couple family gatherings, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day meals, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day meals. That's it. On average, maybe 6 to 10 meals out of this portion of the year are more indulgent, traditional, or outside the norm of your routine. And there's over 1,000 meals in a full year. If you ate 3 meals a day, that's 1,095 meals. And the holiday meals that feel special make up less than 1% of your entire year. That's the real number. Less than 1% of the meals you eat all year have this holiday feel and tradition around them. And yet, that's where so many people focus their worry, not on the day to day habits that drive 99% of their outcomes, but on the handful of moments that are meant to be celebrations. When you look at it from a numerical perspective, it becomes very obvious that these are not the meals that create long-term change in either direction, whether good or bad. And this is why zooming out matters. When you see the whole year at once, it becomes much easier to breathe. That pressure kind of softens, that fear becomes a little bit smaller. And instead of treating every holiday like a test, you start treating it like what it is. And that's just another moment in your life. Now, let's spend some time here focusing on the pressure of the season, how to actually remove it, because the pressure people feel during the holidays isn't random. It comes from a few predictable places. First, there's the pressure of comparison, seeing other people talk about being disciplined or making good choices or burning off their holiday meals. The culture around holidays often mixes judgment with celebration, and that creates internal tension when we see, oh, here's a healthy alternative to sweet potato casserole or green bean casserole or pecan pie. Like, no, you don't have to do that. If you like pecan pie, eat pecan pie. If you like green bean casserole or sweet potato casserole, like this is your one day a year to eat that because that's not something you make on a regular Tuesday night. Second, there's the pressure of feeling to trying like you're trying to micromanage every situation. People try to go into every event with a strict plan, but the moment that plan gets disrupted, which it will, because that's the holidays, they feel like they failed. And failure often leads to the I'll fix it later mindset where we don't worry about it until January or February. Next thing you know, we're like kind of going through this cycle again. Third, there's the pressure of not wanting to lose momentum. Sometimes, someone feels good about the progress they've made in October through early November, then suddenly every gathering feels like a threat to everything they built. And here's the key part to that. Pressure doesn't keep people on track. Pressure usually creates a disconnect from where they want to be and their actual process. It becomes about these like very specific moments that aren't necessarily as important as they make them out to be. And so when you're operating under that pressure, you're not making grounded decisions. You're reacting, you're pulling back, you're swinging between kind of like control and release of doing something that's like controlled and just a regular habit. And that's why so many people say, I'll get back on track after the holidays. They weren't thrown off by the actual food. They were thrown off by the mental weight that carried into the season of how you approach these holidays. Now, holidays shouldn't derail you. The pressure to be perfect during the holidays does derail you. So how do we remove that pressure? We remove it by reframing what the holiday actually means in context of the full year, talking about that 1,095 meals. We remove it by normalizing flexibility instead of perfection, meaning we don't have to cut out everything that we enjoy. We remove it by remembering that one event doesn't define anything in our entire year. And then we remove it by trusting that the consistency that you live in most of the year is what determines your actual outcomes. I like to talk a lot about your average of what you do every single day determines what you will get out of it versus any one given moment. Now, that's the real pattern. People spiral in December not because they're overeating at events, but because they tell themselves the season is already ruined. That mindset creates 3, 4, sometimes even 8 weeks of inconsistency. Now, if we're able to remove that pressure, it means that we're refusing to adopt our story that these little moments that we actually want to enjoy have any impact on our long term success. It means allowing holidays to be holidays without them turning into a 2 month reason to disconnect from the habits that actually help us feel our best. Now, your health is built in the other 350 days of the year. Now, this needs to be a bit of a deep dive. So let's take some time here. This is the foundation of our sustainable health. What you do consistently matters far more than what you do occasionally. Let's get into some real examples, real numbers, and real scenarios. So, example one, movement consistency. If you work out 3 to 4 times per week for 11 months out of the year, that's around 175 structured workouts. If the holiday season causes you to miss a few workouts, maybe you drop down to 160 or 165, that does not change your long-term what matters is that you remain a person who moves their body regularly, regardless of whether the holiday week looks perfect. Example two, eating pattern consistency. If you eat in alignment with your goals for most of the year, let's say 80% of your meals are balanced, intentional, and supportive of your goals, then having holiday meals doesn't shift that percentage in any meaningful way. People often think that they ate terribly during the holidays, but when you break it down, the math doesn't necessarily match that emotion. It's just part of that 20%. Even if you had 6 big holiday meals, that is still a tiny fraction of your year. Consistency outside of that window is what matters most. And then start to actually like have the identity of being consistent. And sustainable health isn't about having like flawless weeks. It's about training your identity to stay grounded even when life gets busy. If you're someone who eats breakfast daily, drinks water daily, moves daily, sleeps with intention, fuels your body well the rest of the year, that identity doesn't vanish because you went to a holiday party. So some tangible ways to reinforce kind of keeping that consistency through the holidays. And we're going to get very specific because I want you to have tangible guidance that you can actually use. So first, keep your morning routine the same. This is the anchor that keeps your rhythm intact, whether your morning routine is breakfast, hydration, a short walk, whatever it is, or just like taking some time slow for yourself, keeping that the same stabilizes the entire day. When the morning feels like you start off in a good place, the rest of the day tends to follow suit. And that doesn't mean you have to have some big morning routine and wake up and ground and do all that stuff. Just like, no, just keep things consistent, what you do every single day when you wake up, and you will feel better throughout the day. Next, maintain your normal sleep and wake times as much as possible. People underestimate how much sleep disruption affects our hunger cues, energy, and cravings. Even within staying of an hour of our normal sleep window keeps your body regulated. And that doesn't mean you don't need to, you need to go to bed at 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve, but it means that if you have off a week or two, maybe you don't sleep in until 10 a.m. Like you just keep yourself on a normal schedule. Maybe you add in, go to bed 30 minutes later and you wake up 30 minutes earlier or 30 minutes later than you normally would. Just like stay consistently within those windows because you will actually be able to feel better and have consistent energy throughout the day. Versus you start sleeping till 10 a.m., you're probably going to start feeling groggy. You're probably going to start having trouble sleeping at night. Your hunger cues, energy, and cravings all start to come into effect there. And then stick to your normal eating intervals. So you normally eat every 3 to 5 hours, then keep that consistency. This prevents the starving, then overstuffing and overeating and binge eating and snacking, all of those things, that cycle that makes the holidays feel chaotic. Then build a balanced plate without obsessing over it. A balanced plate doesn't mean being perfect. It simply means you're paying attention to how you feel. Include protein when you can, add something colorful, get your veggies in, keep portions flexible. You're not tracking, you're just staying aware. Then move your body in small, consistent ways. This does not mean you have to do a structured workout every single day, but go for a walk in the morning, stretch a little bit, like do a 20-minute lift when you can. Movement is about maintaining your rhythm and not burning calories. And we start to think like during the holidays, it's kind of like this recovery period where we should take a break from all those things, but those things help us actually feel better every day. So why would we cut those things out? Just keep it in your normal routine, even on Thanksgiving. Like, yeah, do a workout in the morning, move a little bit more, go for a walk with family, like do some things because that will actually help you feel better and stay consistent through this stretch of the year. Then treat each day as its own, not part of like a holiday blur. This is huge. People gain weight during the holidays because they treat the entire season as one long exception where each day actually stands alone. So it's like you have a Thanksgiving day where you eat whatever you want. And then you go back to your routine on Friday. And maybe you are like me and you have the Ohio State Michigan game on Saturday. And like, you're probably going to eat some, my uncle's bringing Portillo's beef from Chicago. And we're probably going to have some pizza. Or I'm probably going to have some taquitos. Like, we're going to have good food. And then Sunday, I'm going to go back to eating balanced meals again. And I'm not even going to worry about what I did on Saturday because, again, we talked about 1,095 meals during the year. So we're talking about one. Like, it's a small, small part of the process. Next, give yourself permission to pause and like actually check in while you're eating, while you're enjoying a meal. Like, am I full? Like, do I need to eat something? Like, you can always come back to it later. You don't have to necessarily like eat everything in that moment. And you can think about like, how's it going to make me feel tomorrow? Like, that's perfectly acceptable. If it's something is going to have you like on the toilet for 30 minutes or have you groggy or feeling bad the entire next day, or your family normally like drinks a lot on, Friendsgiving or whatever it is, and you don't want to feel like crap for a couple days, like, make yourself do the things that'll help you feel better. Next, permission. This is, I think, one of the most important things that I don't think people tend to take time to frame around is giving yourself permission that during the holidays, it's one of those times where you can allow yourself to actually enjoy yourself. And that's the mature thing to do. It means you're not approaching food or events or alcohol with fear. You're not performing like discipline just to impress people. We don't have to go to them like, oh yeah, well, like, I'm on a diet. Like, if you're on a diet, like, you're not going to stick to it. You're not going to do it for the next 20 years. So instead, just like enjoy those moments and then get back to being consistent the next day. You're allowing yourself to experience the parts of the season that actually matter, the food that reminds you of home, the moments around the table, the traditions you only get once a year. Permission means releasing that belief that you need to earn your meals or make up for them later. It means acknowledging that food is not a moral test. It means you are allowed to enjoy something simply because you enjoy it. And that's a healthy relationship with food. If you have to earn it, like, that's not health, that's punishment. So instead, just enjoy it and then go back to being consistent afterwards. Now, here's some anchors that will help you stay consistent through this period and also reward yourself for feeling good about what you're doing. So the first one is eat your normal meals, especially breakfast. Skipping meals to save up almost always leads to overeating later, not because you lack discipline, but because your body is trying to correct a calorie deficit. Keeping your normal eating rhythm makes the entire day calmer and more predictable. Next, hydrate like you normally do. Your hydration habits support your energy, digestion, and clarity. You don't need special holiday hydration rules. Your usual consistency is enough. And for us, like, that's typically starting with water and electrolytes in the morning. Very simple, but just do that one thing and you will set up the rest of the day to be a little bit better off. Next, continue to move daily. I reject the idea as a whole that you have to take this long break during the holidays. Movement is about burning calories or like undoing the holiday food. Daily movement simply keeps your rhythm and routine alive and tells your body we're still doing what we normally do, even if the days around us look a little bit different. And you will feel better if you move a little bit. One of the things that I think is so important is that you have to give energy to get energy. And so if you notice you feel lethargic, like, get up and go for a walk, do a quick workout, like, do these things to set yourself up for success. You can actually enjoy the holidays the way you should. Next, listen to your hunger cues. This is not like meant to be something that sounds corny. Like, it's actually incredibly crucial. Listening to your hunger cues means noticing when you're actually hungry, noticing when you're satisfied, and recognizing when you want more later. It removes the pressure to clean your plate or to avoid foods that you enjoy. It creates a sense of trust with your body instead of fighting against it and saying, okay, well, like, I've had enough, even though you're still hungry. Like, if you're hungry, eat. If you're hungry later, eat again. It doesn't have to be something that's like something that you think about or overthink about consistently. Next, it's okay to stop eating and it's okay to have more later. Stopping when you're satisfied doesn't mean denying yourself. It means acknowledging that you can always have more later in the day if your body wants it. This one mindset shift removes the urgency and scarcity mindset around overeating and allows you to just enjoy the meal and move on from it. Next is focusing a little bit kind of on the guilt cycle. And guilt is the biggest disruptor during the holidays because it's not about the food. It's not about the gathering. It's not about the pecan pie or the pumpkin pie or the Christmas cookies. It's the story people attach to those moments. Guilt convinces you that enjoying one meal means you messed up. And that belief alone is what triggers the all or nothing cycle. When guilt shows up, people start restricting, compensating, or adopting the mindset that I already blew it, so I'll just reset in January. And that mindset, not the holiday meal, is responsible for most of the setbacks people experience at this time of year. Now, we're talking about the day. What about the day after? The day after a holiday is where your mindset really shows up. You don't need to overcorrect. You don't need to do a detox. You don't need to punish yourself with exercise. You don't need to dramatically clean up your diet to prove you're committed. The healthiest thing you can do is simply return to your normal routine, the same routine that supports you the other 350 days of the year. The day after is not a test, it's just another day in your life. And returning to your rhythm calmly and confidently is what reinforces your identity as someone who lives a healthy and sustainable lifestyle. Now, instead of making this about like following a program, this becomes about humans building a actual healthy lifestyle. Living a healthy life isn't about perfection or controlling every variable. It's about building a rhythm and consistency that can carry you through every season, the busy seasons, the quiet seasons, the stressful seasons, and the celebratory seasons. The holidays are not interruptions to your health. They are part of the landscape of living a full and happy lifestyle. The more flexible your approach, the more sustainable it becomes. And the more trust you build with yourself, the easier it is to move through the holidays without fear and get back on track afterwards. As you move into this season, I want you to remember that the holidays are meant to be experienced, not managed. You're allowed to enjoy food. You're allowed to enjoy food that feels like home, to sit at a table with people you love, to participate fully without fear that you're undoing months of progress. Let the holidays be holidays. Let gatherings be gatherings. Let traditions be traditions. And trust that your rhythm, your habits, and your identity are strong enough to exist alongside these celebrations. And when the day is done, step back into your normal routine, not because you need to fix anything, but because that routine and consistency is something that you built the rest of the year and will continue to do to live a healthy and happy lifestyle. Let the holiday just be a holiday. Thanks for being here, and I hope this helps you move through the season with confidence, freedom, flexibility, and ultimately allows you to just enjoy those important moments with your family and those around you.